some of your favorite genres of games?
Yeah, I like platformers. I definitely gravitate towards platformers, old school games, which I think you'll see from our collection that we're gonna bring is that we just love old school graphics. We love those type of games. Back before marriage and life and all that stuff, JRPGs I really liked when I could invest the time. I like grinding in those games. I like the stories, things like that. And I really started with like the PS1 era with Final Fantasy VII is where I really learned about RPGs. I didn't play them during the SNES era or before. I like those. I like racing games a lot. I like arcade racing. So Burnout Revenge on the 360 is one of my favorite games of all times. They brought out Burnout Paradise on the Switch, which I had never played before because I never got into the Paradise one, but I love it. I think it's great and it's perfect on the Switch. Need for Speed, they recently brought over, I believe, Need for Speed. I don't know if it's Most Wanted. I forget which one, but that one I've been playing. So racing I like. So JRPGs, platformers, racing, and for whatever reason, I absolutely love the Fight Night series. I love boxing. I don't watch boxing, but I love Fight Night Round 3, and then Fight Night, I think it was Champions was the one that came after. 4 I skipped, but 3 for some reason I thought had the best mechanics, and I played on the 360 again, but it was just perfect. And I would love for Fight Night to come on the Switch. I wish they would bring back that series, but I would say that's like probably like my favorite type of genres of games.
Nice. What JRPGs did you play?
JRPG. So I did. Okay. So recently, I've done Xenoblade, Tales of Vesperia. I did the Tales series for other consoles, the Final Fantasy series, Kingdom Hearts. I play a lot on the PS1, so it's like Jade Cocoon. I played, like the Legend of Mana, like that whole series. And then there's like the tactical ones like Final Fantasy Tactics, Suikoden. So like I tried to play a lot of them like growing up, and then I realized I just didn't have time for them, so I don't play them as much. So like recently, like the Final Fantasy 9, I was just like I have a little bit of time. I'm like I really miss an old style turn-based one, so I'll throw that in. But yeah, for the most part, I don't play too many of them, just because again I'm intimidated by the amount of time it takes, and I know how limited time I have to play. Where if I don't play it constantly, I'm gonna forget it. I'm gonna forget the controls. I'll forget the story, and I just tend to like put those to the side until I know I have like a dedicated block that I can just go right through it. So yeah, I played a lot on the PS1, not so much even on like the PS4, PS2. I did. So oh my god, it was like Rogue Galaxy and just trying to think of like the other ones that came out, like Grandia, those type of games. So I've always been a fan of them. I just don't play them as much anymore.
I know with platformers, you were saying like the Mario Brothers and stuff like that. And
yeah, Mario, Rayman, and then just there was one called A Whole New World. That was like an 8-bit style one, like the Cathedral that recently came out, which is like the Metroidvania style platformer. Blue Fire also that recently came out. So I've always been a fan of those. Like I like going through levels. I like knowing there's a completion. I like unlockables that you can go back to if you want to, and that's what I grew up on. Like even like the NES, the SNES, it was always like the platformers that I played, and I never really played. Like I really didn't play Zelda back in the day. I played more Mario and like those type of games where you're just kind of like jumping through the level and whatnot, and that always just stuck with me. Like those to me are like very entry friendly games where it's like if I'm going to start a new one, maybe it's going to take like 10 to 20 hours at most, depending on the game. A lot of times it could be 5 to 10. So I factor in like time a lot now with like what game I'm going to play or what genre I want to enjoy, because I just feel like it's so limited that I'm like, if I'm going to play a game, I need to be able to beat it.
Like stories or any gaming stories that you have from...
Yeah, you think I would. I mean, I don't know, so much stories, just, I guess, words of advice is that if you're passionate about something, I highly recommend just pursuing it. Because for me, the way I really got into the Switch community, I was on Facebook at 1 a.m. I was a quiet collector. I think I had just joined a group that had like 400 members at the time. They're up to like 8,000 now. So this was early on the Switch. And somehow, I don't know where, this ad came up that said, oh, if you're interested in reviewing games, reach out to me. And it was the website, The Switch Effect. So I don't know if you've heard of them, but they've been around since like 2017, so around when the Switch came out. And I reached out to the owner at the time. It was just her and like one other person. And I was like, I think I want to review. Like, I've never done it before, but I like the Switch. I think it'd be fun. I wrote a review for Sonic Mania. I sent it to her. She liked it. She had me join the team. It was a month old at the time. And then within the week, I started talking to her about like what my passion and interests are, which was marketing. And I said, what if I do interviews? And she's like, okay, let's try it. And then so for like, I want to say 8 or 9 months, I was with that site. I did over 100 interviews with developers, publishers, YouTubers, things like that for the website. And that's what really got me into gaming. Like, that was the first time I ever felt I was connected to like the gaming industry. I got to learn their stories. I love sharing them, their passion, things like that. I moved on to another site, which was Gaming Boulevard, for a few months, which I did the same thing. I was interviewing and I did a number for them. And then I don't know if you know a magazine called the Switch Player. So Switch Player magazine. So I ended up doing a piece for them. And because I was a collector, I did their collector piece. So each month I would focus on one collector release or collection that came out. I would also do like 1 or 2 interviews for the magazine. So I have a few published interviews in their magazine. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I've been doing this for a few different channels. I think I kind of want to do it on my own now. And I started my website, and that's kind of where it came. I brought in some friends that wanted to do reviews. I was already on some lists, so I was getting review codes, and we just started building this up. By the time we stopped doing reviews, we had, I think, a little over 500 reviews on the website. And then, my social media channel just kind of kept growing because I was always active and doing that. So it's funny. It's just like I literally had 30 followers on Twitter when I started this, and just every day I would post. I start talking to people, just always try to be positive, just sharing my love of the Switch, and then it grew over time. And honestly, for anyone that just wants to try something, like I highly recommend it. Like, the worst that you could do is fail, and that could happen. But it's like the best that could happen is that you just become part of something even better. And that's really, for me, how I view this. Like, I feel very fortunate and lucky that like stuff just seems to be working out right now. But you know what? It's all because of that one little ad to do a review, which I ended up not even doing for that site. But that's how this all started. And then from there, it kind of morphed into me collecting more for the Switch, sharing all the stuff coming out, writing stuff, getting to know developers and publishers through the reviews. And now this is the next stage. Now it's like it's publishing games, and I have no idea how many we're gonna do as a company. Like, our goal isn't like we want to do one a month or something like that, but it's really just let's just do this. Like, we have the opportunity. We finally released our first 2 games. They're real, and we have a few more signed. So it's just like let's just keep doing this and see how it works out, and let's have fun. And the whole time, just stay true to ourselves, and that's what we're all trying to do. But it's been a wild journey, and I owe it all to the Switch.
That's nice. Oh my goodness, man! It's a hell of a journey going from doing just game reviews and going all the way up, man. It's like a dream in paradise type of thing.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna take it for granted. And I told my partner, I said, like, I'm gonna make this work. I mean, I see this as exactly what I want to be doing. This is like what I always envisioned my marketing like future to be, and I will make this company work. Like, I want to do right by I always said I want to do right by the community, by the developers, by our team, and by the releases. And I truly believe like we have that mindset. That's why I think we work well together, is that we always believe in treating everybody fairly, and I think it's been working out for us. But yeah, like, I see this as my future, so I treat it exactly like I treat my job. Like, it's just as vital, and it needs to succeed. So we keep moving forward and just having fun with it at the same time. But it's been a wild ride. I can't believe we're heading into April, but August is going to be a year already, and it doesn't seem that far away since we announced. And it's crazy, just like the transformation, that'll be in that year already. But it's been worth it.
But yeah, so like with everything going on with the company and everything like that, and you're trying to find times between work, family, you know, playing your own games and stuff like that, is there just like a game that's like your guilty pleasure? Like you're just, I just want to just veg out, not do a damn thing, not have to think, you know? Is there a game for you that's that way? Like I play Candy Crush.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. Like, I honestly have not had time to just unwind. Like, I've actually moved towards comics again for like the downtime, and I think it's because like the business side is video games, so it's just I'm constantly looking at it, and while I love it, I need to detach sometimes. And the problem with me is that I live on my phone, so that's why I'm not joking when I say like I'm tweeting at all hours of the day because it's so convenient. So for me, when I actually put the phone away, I moved more towards comics now. So like I said, Rocket League, the reason I love that game so much is that was my downtime game. That was the game where I'm too tired to really concentrate on an actual game that involves a story. I'm going to play Rocket League. I can just sit, play 5, 10, an hour. It doesn't matter. It's just like that's my unwinding game. Now it's comics really. I mean, I don't have a yeah, I don't. I'm trying to think like what's on my Switch that I just open up all the time. I would probably say like Burnout. Burnout Paradise would be the closest thing that I've had recently to just like a downtime game. Because for me, it's like I just like driving around. It's not even racing. It's just literally driving around and getting to the mountains where I can start drifting. I've always loved like drifting in games. So to me, I'll get the music that I like in the game, and then I'll just drive around for a while. And to me, like that's the unwinding. But outside of that, now it's really comic books. Like I'll try and grab like a few comics a night and just find time to read them. Even if it's like 2 a.m. and I have to wake up at like 7, I'm like, I just need something to just unwind before I go to bed. So comics have been that for me. But before that, it would be Burnout and then Rocket League.
Nice. Are there any
Yeah.
upcoming games that you're looking forward to at all?
That's a good question. Yes. I am interested in checking out the new Monster Hunter Rise that's coming out this week. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I guess a game that just came out that I haven't tried yet, but the Bravely Default 2. I had not played that series beforehand. I played the demo when it first came out. Ended up playing like 7.5 hours into a demo, which I've never done before, and it just made me love that game. So that's one that just came out that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to checking out the Shin Megami Tensei 3, the Nocturne HD that's coming out for the Switch. I didn't play that for, I want to say PS2. Maybe it came out on there, but I didn't play that the first time around. And then, yeah, I don't know. I don't look too far ahead anymore. But I would say like even though it has been announced like Breath of the Wild 2, I'm really looking forward to. I'm sure it's gonna be a phenomenal game that I'll really enjoy. And then I'm just trying to think like kind of like recent ones that I've seen on the list coming up, and yeah, I can't say there's anything that's like I'm dying to play right now. I just feel like I have so many immediate games, but I would say like those few are probably like the first that come to mind. You need that sometimes, and that's why it's so great to have such like the wide range of games on the system, because you've got like those in-depth like 100-hour plus games that you just want to get engrossed in, and you just want a game that you can just pick up and play whenever you just feel the need to, and you don't feel like you have to catch up on anything when you haven't gone into it for a while. But that's also like surprisingly like a guilty pleasure. I love puzzle games, like actually like puzzle piece type of games. And there's one that came out as like the Jigsaw Puzzle Collection, which was a physical, so it's a digital code in the case, no cartridge. And I bought it. It has the code. I downloaded it, and it's just like random puzzles of like, I think it's like scenery from Japan or something like that, and then you can adjust how many pieces you have. But like that, I find very relaxing because I used to do puzzles for fun, and like that to me is just like okay, like no stress, just put the pieces together, make a nice picture, call it a day. Like I think I'm at that age where I'm just like I just need simplicity sometimes. This stuff, it's a hobby, but it eats up our time. Like you become so involved in it that's like, oh, I don't have free time anymore, but I'm loving what I'm doing, and it's like I want to play games, but I'm happy still doing this.
You don't have to answer this question if you don't want to, but are there any like upcoming games that you guys are releasing that you're looking forward to?
Yeah. So we have announced a robot named Fight, which is a Metroidvania, Super Metroid inspired type of game. It has over 4 billion combinations, so no game is alike. and obviously like you save your power ups when you start up again, and the idea is still to beat the game, but the dungeon and the rooms are all randomly generated each time. That game we're really looking forward to. That's probably the game that everybody from our announced lineup is what they're looking forward to. Like we always hear like, oh, so congrats on your release. Can't wait for Robot. Oh, I got Super Blood Hockey. Can't wait for Robot. And we're like, it's coming, it's coming. We're trying to do as much as we can before we announce the pre-order. So there's a very small window between pre-order and when you're going to get the game. Because what we learned early on is that with Super Blood Hockey, the game came out on the Switch, I think, in 2019. It was a 2-year-old game. And what happens is you submit the game for what's called a lot check. So Nintendo checks the game itself. They check to make sure there's no bugs, things like that. And we thought there wouldn't be any issues because the game is 2 years old on the Switch already. It came back to us 5 times. They found they have ninja masters playing these games where I entered this character in the letters, in the character screen. I changed the menu option. I went back. It did this. Like things that nobody would ever do. They found these bugs. So every time it comes back to you, the developer has to fix it. You resubmit it and you go through the whole process. So we launched this game in August thinking we'd have the game in December. And, we just started shipping the game out last week. So it took a little bit longer, which was the hard part. But now for our future titles, we're trying to do all that stuff beforehand. So for Robot Named Fight, we're trying to get that lot check done completely. So we know that the game is good to go. So when we press order, we can have Nintendo manufacture the cartridges right away. With our first release, we were working with a packaging facility who was working on our covers and our manuals and stuff like that. So we'd give them our designs, and we had to go through so many reiterations. And, it's the first time working with a new company, so we're trying to make sure that the layouts are correct. So now these things are all fixed for future releases because we have all the right setup. But Robot Named Fight, we're really looking forward to. We partnered with a developer who did a Kickstarter last year. They're releasing a game called Sunshine Manor, which is like a 16-bit horror game. And they released their first game on Steam. It's called Camp Sunshine. So you're like a sleepaway camp. There's this killer teddy bear, not teddy bear, but the killer bear with like a machete knife that's hunting all the kids. It's like M-rated, it's cartoony blood, but like Super Nintendo style. And he's working on the next game called Sunshine Manor, which is really a prequel to this. So we got to talking with him, and we actually partnered with him for the Kickstarter, and we're going to be releasing a 2-in-1 set. So it's going to be Camp Sunshine and Sunshine Manor on one cartridge for the Switch. So he's in development right now on that. We're hoping to release it late this year, early next year. That's one that's coming out. And then I will say that we have 2 more games that are signed that we haven't announced yet. We'll probably announce the next one in the coming month or so. But yeah, we're looking forward to what we signed. I mean, these are games that we ended up loving, so we're very happy to partner with. And we're hoping that everybody else enjoys them. I mean, we know Robot, everyone is, but hopefully the unannounced ones are ones that people are going to really enjoy and look forward to. And we're glad that we get to, 3 games signed, sorry. So we're just hoping that these games are going to be ones that are going to be well received and played and enjoyed. And yeah, we're excited. Like I said, we're still working on Pigeon Dead, but we're really looking forward to having our next direct where we announce, the progress of the current games and some upcoming ones as well, and get people excited all over again. So I'm really looking forward to that. But, since we're going slow, we can't do it just yet. But yeah, I can't wait till the day where we announce, game number 3. So.
Thank you, gamers, for joining us for this conversation. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe so you can see more of this interview and others like it. Have a good one, you guys.